Brexit is top of the inbox for the new Prime Minister, who says we'll be leaving the EU on the 31st of October, do or die. Well, the food supply chain is one of the major concerns in a no-deal scenario, something that will affect pubs, restaurants and other catering operations. Well, the world's biggest supplier of catering services is Compass. It provides food and drink to tennis fans at Wimbledon, troops on peacekeeping operations for the United Nations and 1 in 10 school children here in the UK. The Chief Executive, Domininc Blakemore, is with me now for his first broadcast interview since taking the job. Domininc, very good afternoon to you. Let me start with Brexit. I mean, the UK is 9% of your business globally, so presumably you're having to put in a fair amount of contingency planning.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, if we look back over the last couple of years, Brexit has been difficult for us in a number of ways. I mean, firstly, it's slowed down decision-making, both in the public sector and the private sector. We've seen less investment in our clients, which means lower jobs, lower new jobs, and we've actually seen reductions in headcounts as well. And of course, we've seen weakness in consumer spending patterns. So it's been a problem for us over the last several years. And, you know, we've said throughout we look forward to a managed deal and a thoughtful exit, but we're planning for all scenarios. And that means, yes, in the event of a no-deal Brexit, we'll build our inventory. We'll probably have to increase it by about 50%, which is a couple of weeks of holding. But we only supply 20% of our product comes from Europe, so we're looking at alternative sources, and we're looking at how we can vary our menus to ensure that we have a seamless supply of quality service to our clients.
Do you actually have the warehouse space available here in the UK for all of the inventory stockpiling you might need?
Yeah, to the extent necessary, we've got that agreed through our logistics partners and suppliers right now. And as I said, we're looking at alternative products that would allow us to continue to provide our services.
So in a worst-case scenario and there is no deal Brexit, I mean, you're confident you'd be able to continue with an uninterrupted supply of services?
I mean, look, to the extent that we've modelled it, yes. 60% of our product still comes from the UK, and there's lots of alternatives in the short term that will allow us to continue service.
Right. What's happening to food price inflation right now? I mean, obviously the pound is very weak. That obviously affects things here. What about more widely?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen, within the UK, we've seen food cost inflation somewhere between 3 and 6% for a number of years now. That's obviously something which has been passed on in some pricing, both within our business and across the high street, and I think it's correlated with the falling consumer demand. But more widely, globally, we're seeing above average food cost inflation. We see that in North America, we see it in Europe as well.
Looking at your trading update today, it's very striking. The US is growing far more strongly for you than Europe is.
Yeah, look, the US is a terrific business. We've grown at 8.5% in the quarter. You know, it's a very buoyant economy right now. We're seeing fantastic opportunities for new contracts. We're taking share, and we see a buoyant consumer as well. So it really is sort of firing on all cylinders, as it were, and we remain quite confident with the outlook. In terms of Europe, we've actually slowed down a touch. We grew at 5.5% in the first half, which is terrific growth in Europe, and we saw some great opportunities in the UK. I think what's happening now is as we go through the Brexit wave, we're seeing that slow down and actually less opportunities. So we've signalled we expect a deceleration in Europe.
Now, there's a lot of things going on in your industry right now affecting consumer behaviour, healthier eating, veganism. How easily are you able to change the menus accordingly?
Yeah, I mean, we think it's really exciting, actually. There's loads of exciting trends, and most of it is about health and wellness. It's about having choice for the consumer. So we're working really hard on innovation. We've got culinary innovation teams. We're working hard on menu alternatives. And we think that creates a lot of positive noise and excitement, and we can create value for the consumer and for the business.
And what about plastics? Obviously, there's a lot of concern about plastic pollution right now. Is that something that you've easily been able to cut down on?
Yeah, I wouldn't say easily. We're working really hard at it. So, you know, the obvious ones we've gone after quickly. We've taken 2.5 million plastic straws out of the business. We've taken 1.5 million items of plastic cutlery out of the business. We're working really hard with our clients and consumers to say where else can we make choices that are different. We're looking for recyclable plastic that is safe and good for the environment, as well as switching to bottles and other sources. So there's lots of choices we need to make, and we need to do it with our clients. And we've set ourselves targets on how much we want to reduce plastics in our supply chain by business over time.
All right, Domininc Blakemore from Compass Group, very good to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.